Ashtabula in Lake County. I'm here today. Made a trip up to Conneaut Library. Even though it's rainy and stuff, it was a great trip to make up this way. So I'm here today with some ladies who have a lot of information to share with us. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Amanda Friday, and I'm the Youth Services Coordinator, and I've been here at the library for 10 years.
I'm Alli Flack, and I'm the Adult Services Coordinator, and I've been here for 8 years.
Wow. See, so they definitely have a lot of great information
Yeah.
to share. So can you highlight some of the adult programming? Would you like to focus on that first, especially some that is coming up maybe this summer or have started already?
So summer reading, obviously,
Yeah.
is our big one. We have some adult coloring that we're going to be doing.
Nice.
Zentangle. We have our cookbook club that we do monthly. So that'll be focusing in July on our summer reading theme. So it'll be colors.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And then another big one that we have is our sip and paint.
Ooh.
It's friends sponsored, so we'll be doing that in June as well. So those are some of our big
Yeah.
ones.
Is that kind of, will that be what they're painting?
Yes.
Oh,
Yep.
wonderful. See, so
Yes.
that's great. You get all that information.
And it's glow in the dark.
Oh
So
my
when they
goodness.
paint it, it'll be glow in the dark. So
Yeah.
it'll be kind of
See,
cool
my
ambiance.
kids would steal that and then put it in their room. My little
Yeah.
kids, I have two
Yeah.
little girls. And
Yeah.
they do it glue in the dark, and then they're like, "Oh, it's a decoration that goes in my room." And I'm like,
Yep.
"No,
It's
Mom."
for
Yeah.
me. Yeah. Yep.
But that's great because you have such a variety. You know,
Yep.
that's something I've been talking with the libraries. You have something almost for like all ages, especially
Mhm.
with adults. You know, too, because still there's very younger adults or older. You know, somebody's
Right.
looking for a little bit of everything.
Mhm.
So it's really nice to know, and that you tie it in to the other programming too. For,
Yep.
You know, that youth,
Mhm.
which is really interesting. I love that. So how do you look at that when you do want to tailor programs to different age groups and just different interests? How do you go about that?
So we try to take feedback
Mhm.
a lot from our patrons, you know, things they want to do. We do have regulars who come. They give feedback on things they've liked in the past, things they want to try. We do like the sip and paints kind of hit that younger demographic that
Yeah.
we, want in here. So just listening to our patrons.
Yeah. And do you do like surveys and things? I know some libraries say they always try to do them as
We
they
have.
can, you know, like
Mhm.
not like maybe all the time, but something that they try to do.
Yeah, we have done that. It seems that more just word of mouth. They
Yeah.
come in for something and they say, I
Mhm.
love this.
Yeah.
So
More of this, more of that.
yes.
And that's what it seems like. A lot of the libraries that I've talked to, they're like, hey, just tell us, you know, what might be missing.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, because your libraries are willing to change and
Yeah.
do these different things,
Mhm.
you know, to meet you where you're at because you're, you know, a community hub for
Yeah.
the people. So,
And things are constantly evolving and changing, and you want to be hot on the topics that are out.
yep.
So you try to jump on things as fast as you can to while it's still popular to
Yes,
make the
hold
people
on to
happy.
it before it
Yeah.
changes again.
That's
Yes.
right.
Exactly. And yet you guys have a great social media for that too.
Yes,
So
we
good
do.
presence. And I've been surprised, not just like, oh, I'm surprised that libraries do that, you know, but there's so many of them who have grown
Yeah.
to do it even more, you know, because there's even small libraries that they just do so much now with that, which is great to
Mhm.
hear. Are there any upcoming events that like you're particularly excited? I like to ask people. I know because
Mhm.
anyone I used the wrong word with one, like I was like proud of, and I'm like, they're like, I'm proud of all, you know, and I'm like, no, I
Yeah.
just mean like, what are you excited? I know you're proud of all,
Yeah.
but like some of your favorite
Yeah.
ones.
Upcoming.
Cookbook club is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Getting people in here, creating their art,
Yeah.
through food. It's good socialization. I mean, sitting and talking with patrons. The sip and paint is something we're very excited for. Those always do well. Then probably our summer reading mini canvas art
Yeah.
contest that
Oh,
is typically very
Mhm.
popular in the summer, so we're looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, that's great to hear. So I'll ask you the same question too.
Okay.
Do you are you interested in any of the adult ones yourself? That you're like
Yes,
excited? I'm sure
all
you
the
both like
time.
these things where you're like, this looks
All
really
the
fun.
time. And we probably give her more ideas too, and she's like, I don't know anything about that. I don't know. But no, it's like a lot of the ideas she's come up with have been so wonderful, and we're like, ooh, are we free at that same time?
Yeah.
Can we pop over? Is there enough room for me to do it with you or do it after? And
Yeah.
we just like watching her come up with the cool stuff, because adult programming is, I don't want to say more difficult, but it's a newer fad.
Yeah, it can
So
be
it's a little more challenging in that, right? Where youth programming is easier.
It's always been something
Yeah,
has kind of
so-
been instilled, you know, in libraries.
Yeah.
For
So
sure.
it's been great watching her bloom and grow into the role, and just,
Yeah.
watching different people come in and
Mhm.
younger people coming
Yes.
in. So we're grabbing like the parents of our kids that come. So it's just really nice.
Yeah, that's wonderful to hear. So how do you encourage kind of that in like lifelong learners community engagement? Because as you mentioned, I mean, me growing up, I love books so much. I have a whole Instagram devoted to books, reading.
Nice.
That's my life. You know, like,
Yeah.
I love it. And one thing is like, I'm not big on just book clubs. So the fact that you know, you're trying to do all these different things, how do you, though, somebody who maybe isn't into reading, you open up and say, hey, we have other things for you, you know,
Yeah.
how
Always.
do you kind of show them that?
Yeah.
Like, you know, with the art and everything, is that why you're like, maybe we should do these things and other things like
yes,
that?
trying to get people in here just to see that it's, you don't have to check out a book. You know,
Yes,
it doesn't have to be a
exactly.
book, but that's here, and you know, we want you to read.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, the aspect of if you have kids too, if you might not be a reader, but you're probably going to read to your children.
Yeah.
So that obviously counts no matter what.
Mhm.
Yeah. And there's like a space for you. I think that's
Yes.
the, you know,
Mhm.
because I think one part of me in times of, this is when I lived, you know, closer to where I did before, where it's like, oh, there's a book club, but yeah, there is one certain age, and not that that's bad. You know,
Yeah.
you're like, but you're trying at age maybe 20s, you're trying to connect with people where you're
Mhm.
like, I'm out of college now. I don't live by any of my friends.
Yeah.
How do I connect with people kind of my age without, you know, doing this, like going to bar? That's not my thing. You know, doing
Right.
something where you're like, I want to connect in a different way. So that's so interesting and great that
Yeah.
there's so many different ways. You know, some
Mhm.
libraries that they go to like wineries. They
Yeah.
have a book club at a winery, and that's kind of cool. I mean,
Yep.
I'm not like a huge, like, I like more the experience
Yeah.
of just going, like, you know, but it's that idea of just doing different things and finding such a variety.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which
And I think
fantastic.
it's just a great place to go and meet different people. My aunt moved to Florida,
Mhm.
and she's like, you know, how do you meet people? I'm an adult. Like, it's
Yeah.
weird. And it's like, go to your local library, go sign up for some
What I
programs.
heard, yep.
You know, you don't have to do a book club. There's crafts and stuff. And
Yep.
she's like, I wouldn't have thought of that, like, to do
Yep.
that. And it's like, yeah, you move. That's where you find out about upcoming programming. We get information about, you know, Head Start, WIC.
Yeah.
Yep.
We get information from local churches and things.
Yeah.
So like even the community board, there's just so many
Health
ways.
things.
Yeah.
I know come in, you know, like
Yes.
just reading about, like I said, all of them
Yeah.
overall, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
To hear.
Mhm.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that information.
Of course.
So shifting a little to children
All
and
right.
youth,
Yeah.
you know, the whole party time, right?
That's right.
What are some staple programs for children and youth kind of and families to look forward to this summer, you know, and the fall even?
The most popular is probably story time. That is what we get asked for, number one. We end a session and then they're like, when's the next one? And we're like, we need a couple weeks.
Yeah, you guys
We
need a
need to
little
breathe.
break.
Yeah, put books away and shift again. So we do 3 sessions throughout the year. The spring and, well, I guess winter, spring, and then our fall are both about 8 weeks. And then our summer reading session is 6 weeks because it just runs along with our programming. So that's probably the most popular that we have and most asked about. For our teenage group is probably any food-related program where they get to create
and then eat.
and eat. Yeah, a lot of
Cute.
the TikTok trends they
Yep.
Miss Carissa does with them. They love that. They just love eating
Yeah.
and talking and making her laugh, which is great. And then for our school age kids is probably either our Little Chefs program, where we try to teach them about healthy snacks they probably would have in their house after school, and anything with painting. They just love being creative and exploring. So when we found out it was Color Our World this summer, we were like, this is perfect.
Really cool
Oh yeah,
for sure.
for
Like
sure.
It encompasses like everything, like you said.
Yeah.
Because I've seen some, because I used to work in some where like I've seen where it is maybe a little younger. Like, you know, certain ones they pick that seems like it's younger, and I know it's just an overall theme that gets
Yes.
picked. But this one to me felt like you could really incorporate it,
Everybody.
like everybody, a little bit more, and easier for the people working here. You know, because sometimes, like you said, you're creative, but you lose creative because you're like, what really should work here?
Right. And it's such a even though it's like Color Our World, so you automatically think art supplies, which is what we have here, but it's also music, it's acting, it's drama, it's a culinary literacy.
Yeah.
So it's everything. So we were able to also incorporate all of that within all the programming from birth to 99 plus. So it's been fun to like have all 3 departments really work together strongly and get that sense of community building and everything. And it's like really fun and exciting to just have like a big completed team this year. So
thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
So how does the library kind of incorporate, again, for youth and children, you know, literacy into those ages? You know, so you're there to do summer reading and things, but how do you kind of teach them, hey, to be a lifelong reader?
Yes.
Instill some of that.
So I think the best way is to just encourage reading by like showing how excited you are about reading. So we always show them books that we love, that we get excited about. Molly and I both break a lot when we're reading books because it's just funny and like the artistry is great. So I think the kids really enjoy that, seeing us enjoy the books. Hearing what we recommend. We have recommendations all over the library. All the staff does that. So that helps. They want to know what you recommend. And a lot of what Molly and I do is our programming is based on books that we find that we're inspired by. So one of the books that I picked is Pig the Stinker. This series is great. Yes. So we're doing a balloon dog painting. So those little figurines that are like glass ceramic, it looks like a balloon and it's a dog. So we're painting that bright, vibrant, Andy Warhol inspired. And then another storytime theme is Bob Ross. Well, not Bob Ross, but painting. So, you know, we have Bob Ross and then Bob Ross and Peepaw the squirrel. So, you know, we get inspired by our books that we have, and that's where programs stem from. We get inspired by that. So it's just an easy hand in hand. And then our summer reading goal is for everyone to read 20 hours. And Alli already touched on that it's everyone's reading. So you're reading to your kids. Well, it counts for those too. And yourself. And yours, even though you're reading, right? Yeah, you're still reading. You're still reading, even though it's a child's book. That still counts for you because your brain is still growing.
You learn some things from children's books. Like I read one last night that I'm like, oh, this one's speaking to me today. Like, you know, like last night I was like, oh yeah, I need to be a little more compassionate with myself. You know, so it's funny, but some of these children's books out there are even way more evolved. You know, 20 million times more evolved than when we had certain. I mean, we had some, but not as much. I don't think when I read these.
We have one that we all read, Cicada, that came out a couple years ago. And it's, even though it's categorized in the children's department, it is almost adult. Yeah, you're like, and it's just about this cicada who like goes through life and he's just a bug and like no one likes him. And then he like goes on and dies and just becomes like a butterfly or something. So it's like, whoa, like that's a strong message.
That's like butterflies are like my favorite too. Like a transformation feeling, you know, all of that. And then I'm sure with you guys too, this is something that kids love too, like reading different voices. Like you said, you can act out the ones, but then my kids take it too far. It's almost bedtime, and I'm like, girls, we've taken it far enough now. I was doing funny voices, but now you guys can't.
Yeah, we gotta tone it down.
Settle down a little bit. But that you can add that into, like you said, the performance.
Absolutely.
You know, doing those things, which is really fun for kids and for adults as well. You learn a lot, you know, from them. So that sounds so fun and exciting. So can you kind of share, this is funny, a success story. There's probably 8,000 million things, but really something that stood out to you, like in a program that you did, even with youth or you know, any programming.
We have quite a few homeschool children that join our programming, and it's crazy seeing them come in and how shy and reserved they are because maybe they're not used to other kids. They're an only child or anything. And like within a year, how excited they are to come back. They know the rhythm of everything and they're not shy. And then they want to tell you everything and anything. And Molly and I sit there and like, yes, tell us everything. And the parents are like, well, not right now. And we're like, no, we want them to share. Of course we do. And like, if they feel comfortable talking to us, they feel safe. And like, that's just, you know, heartwarming and sweet. So,
and especially like you said, their life's a little different. You know, they stay at home a lot more. Maybe it is just their parents. So you might remind their parents a little too, hey, this is a break for, you know, like you're the one answering these all the time. So having that's really good support, you know, just from the community.
Absolutely.
But is there anything else you would like to share? I mean, sometimes people look and say their website. I mean, obviously you can just search Conneaut Library and you'll find the website. I mean, all of, like I said, most libraries are pretty good at if you just search their information. But their social media, like I said, you guys keep everything so updated.
Thank you. Yeah.
And they have so many fun clubs for like teenagers and things too. I've seen on there. So I just thank you guys so much. If you have nothing else to share, but
please follow us on Facebook. Make sure that you are part of our digital newsletter that comes out once a month, and join us for our summer reading program. We're gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna learn lots, and we're gonna read a lot, and we're gonna have a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's and you can win some things too. Which is
Oh,
Yes.
our prizes are going to be great.
Yeah,
So
which people like prizes.
we don't know what they are quite yet, but we're getting there.
That's exciting.
We are.
It's a surprise too.
That's
If it
right.
was just books, a pile of books you found that.
Oh,
you
it's more
didn't
than
even-
that.
You just picked them up, but I'd be happy.
Yeah,
If they
yeah.
were just random books you found and put them in a pile.
Yes.
I'd be like, oh, surprise.
I know one of them I'm looking at for grade school kids is a ukulele.
Oh, see,
So we're bringing
really
that back.
exciting.
Yeah. So if you want to win that, that's one of the grand prizes. So
That sounds great.
Yes.
But thank you so much, and for your hard work
Thank
and all this stuff.
you.
Your busy time is coming. But it's
Yes.
gonna be exciting. So,
Yes.
But thank you again for meeting with me
Thank
today.
you for coming.
Thank you.
All right, Ashtabula and Lake County. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.